Hi folks, this is a video clip that I'm preparing for tutorial in 3D Experience. The purpose of the clip is to uh, parameterize an assembly in 3D Experience. Those of you who may have experience with Catia, you know that it's fairly a reasonably straightforward way, but it's not so much in 3D Experience. What I'm going to show you also is not the most efficient way of doing it, or maybe the best way doing it. However, it works. Uh, the uh, the ideas behind this clip are coming from a recent textbook in CAD modeling in 3D experience. The version was 2016X where this was made. However, today I'm going to be doing the same thing in 2017X. I'm the author of that book, and this particular tutorial is not in the book. However, a close counterpart of it, which is parametrizing a solid assembly or an assembly, you can find it there. And it's going to be fairly useful for other purposes if you need it. You can find it in Amazon, and there's the author. Anyways, let's go back and explain to you what the problem is that we're trying to do. The problem is actually explained here. We have an assembly made of two pieces, two parts. One of them is a box, the bottom one, and the top one is a wedge. They're supposed to fit together. And you want to be able to create certain parameters in 3D Experience that you can go to the tree just like that, although this tree is for Catia, the Catia V5. Go there, and by changing any of these, such as H is let's see now, H is yeah, this height, H, the L, alpha, and W, to change the assembly configuration. Okay. Uh, Now, this tutorial is rather informal, and it's going to be done in maybe a couple of segments, perhaps maybe 2-3 segments. In the first one, I create the assembly, the parts, and show you how to activate your parameter display in the tree, and imposing the assembly constraint. And in the second one is where I define my parameters and relate it to the assembly. Okay. All right. Let's go and open up the 3D experience. There's the platform, and I have already gone into assembly design, and we are ready to roll. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this product. So right click properties, and I would call it uh, parametrize assembly. All right, and I'll take a identifier 1. Say OK. Now I'm going to save this right away. File save. Keep in mind that my work is done on the cloud, and therefore there may be some delays in getting some of these items working. Now, let's make sure that we know how to activate the parameters in the tree. I'll do it twice. First here, so you go to the me icon on the top right corner, and then preferences, and the the standard windows that Catia user used to opens up. This is the tools options feature in Catia V5. What you need to do is you scroll down under infrastructure, you select the 3D shape infrastructure, and then under the display tab, make sure that these boxes are checked. Mine is already checked, and this is why in the second segment when I create my parameters, they're going to then I'm going to insert the first part. So place the cursor there, right click, and insert a 3D part. And I'm going to rename that to be how about the box, that yellow piece that you saw here in the loose sheet. Okay. Let's wait. There we are. I'm going to rename this thing, right click properties. I'm going to change that to box, box 1. Okay. And okay. And let's make it. So uh, expand this, double click on the shape. We're going to be putting the part design workbench. There we are. And on the XY on the YZ plane, I will sketch that cross section of this box, of this yellow shape, which looks like that. Okay. Well, I'll do it quickly and then use the constraints to make sure that uh, they're symmetric and everything. So let's see now. Let's make this wedge here and there, there. Okay, good. Let's clean it up now. So select this, right click, we want to make it horizontal. Okay, that's good. Left line control, right line control the middle axis. We would like to make it symmetric, so constraints defined in dialog box, symmetric. This left point control, right point control the middle axis. Again, we want to make it symmetric. It's okay, don't let it bother you. And this point control this vertical axis also to be, well, here to be coincident. There we are. Okay. Now it is fully, constrained so that we can resize like that, and you notice that it maintains its symmetry. Now there are some dimensions that we need. If you look at the loose sheet, this is an angle that has to be control alpha and then W and H. So we need to create those dimensions, and let's let me do that. Okay, so dimensions, constraints. I want this thing to have a dimension. I want the distance from that point to this point. The distance from that line to this point. There we are. That's one of our parameters. And the angle, that angle. All right, good. Just so that we have the I know what my nominal value is. This nominal value, I double click on this thing. I'm going to change this thing to, how about 45 degrees? Okay. And I'm going to change this 32 units of millimeter. I'm going to change it to 30. Remember, so 45 degrees and 30. These can change, of course, but right now I want to have an idea of what these values are. Okay, so we're pretty much done here. We're going to exit this. Exit. And then path. Let me see, was L my, yeah, the length is one of my parameters, but I just added by the default 20 millimeter right now. I don't have to dimension that because it's already there. My rendering, the rendering doesn't look very good, so I'm going to change this thing to shading. Good, excellent. Incidentally, if you want to change the color of this thing permanently so that when you log out and when you close this document, you turn to it, you get this the color that you want, right click on the shape, properties, and select the colors tab, and change this thing to yellow. All right, good. Let's quickly save this thing. All right. Then we're going to go back to parameters. the assembly, right click insert, and again 3D part. I'm going to change the name of this thing to be wedge with identifier 1. Okay, let's make it. Double click on the shape, 3D shape, and select the appropriate plane, a convenient plane. So once again, YZ plane is convenient for me. So I'm going to sketch on this. All right. Okay, so triangle basically, like so. And we're going to clean it up in a minute. Okay, let's make sure that it is perfectly symmetric. So left vertex, right vertex, and the middle axis. We make it symmetric. Okay, and on this end we have to, okay, that's pretty much it, and then we have to dimension certain things because those are our parameters. So constraints, first of all, this angle, and remember we made the nominal value of 45 so that it fits the other one perfectly. Oops, that's okay. There we are. Oh, let me undo this. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. There we are. Okay, so let me see this angle. Well, let me put the other dimension first. So from here to there, I wanted this thing to be 30. Okay, and that angle, I want it to be 45. Okay, good. These two perfectly match. Exit. Where's the exit here? Exit and pattern. And pattern. Okay. And again, if you want to change the color permanently, right click properties under the colors tab, select, say, the, I don't know, maybe the, I like this orange. All right, save everything. And let's create the assembly constraints, although we don't need to do it right now. As a matter of fact, I will keep it like this. I'm not going to create the assembly constraints at this point, but we'll worry about it later on. All right, that's going to be the end of the first video segment.